Guys, what's up? It's me, the Centipede. I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be doing the second part of a series that I started a long time ago, the Tower Review. So we're going to be doing on the Boomerang Monkey. So I'll get a little bit into the tower itself. We're going to head over into Sandbox here, and I'll go over each of the upgrades, and then I'll talk about the tower. The second episode. So here's the top path. We have improved rings. It can pop up to 8 balloons per throw. We have glaives, sharper and faster glaives instead of boomerangs. Glaive ricochet. Glaives will bounce from balloon to balloon automatically and aggressively. MOAR glaives, multiple object advanced ricochet. Greatly enhances the already extraordinary powers of the glaive ricochet. And glaive lord, it surrounds itself in 3 special glaives that shred anything near it. So I really love the glaive lord upgrade, but it's really expensive. So on this map, I don't really know a good place to put a boomerang monkey, but this should work for now. So we'll send out 10 blue balloons. So it's gonna have to come around, but it can handle those. Send out some reds, it'll easily go through them. But it should be overrun by some greens. Actually, it might get them on their second go around. Yeah, it will. But that's just because of where I put it. Yeah, yellows it can't do. So improved rings, it's just going to have higher pierce. So if we put that now, it might be able to deal with blues more easily. Yeah. Now if we try yellows, yeah, it's going to deal with yellows a lot better. Only leaving 1 life. If we try pinks now, it's not going to have too much difficulty. If we have glaives, now it should deal with yellows easily. Yeah, yellows were no problem. Pinks, an issue either. Now blacks are, yeah, blacks are going to be a problem. So blacks, also, these things, they don't do much ceramic damage. Sure, they're sharper, but they don't do anything. Also, they cannot pop leads. But there's another upgrade for that later. So now we'll upgrade it to Glaive Ricochet, which is one of my favorite upgrades. It's very cost effective. If we go here, you see that it's only 1,300 coins, which is very effective in my view. So if we send out some blacks, it'll ricochet, and blacks are no problem. If we put out zebras, zebras are still not an issue. Rainbows, I don't know if it can handle rainbows. Yeah, it can't handle rainbows, but it's not going to do awfully. Purples, it's going to be fine with purples. Actually, no, it won't. That's interesting. It dealt with zebras, but not purples. Not sure why. Alright, well, regardless, again, still cannot pop leads. None of these upgrades actually, we'll actually have to see about that. If we put out more glaives, though, then it should deal with the rainbows fine. Because, A, it increases the ricochet power, and B, it throws faster, I believe. So if we send out some ceramics, it'll do some work. It won't get through them, but actually, yeah, it'll leak a lot. But if you have towers with good group popping power, just like a tack shooter, for instance, if we'll put up an overdrive, which is in a good tower, if we send out some ceramics, then 10 ceramics, we should be fine. Because it can deal with, actually, no, it can't. Never mind. Alright, well, I'll get to tack shooter in a later video. It's one of my favorite towers, but this is... So here for 10 ceramics, it's going to easily shred through them. 10 Moabs. So one of the interesting things about the Glaive Lord, I believe in Blue Star Defense 6, it is the only tower in the game with infinite popping power, which means that it will never get overrun with balloons. Like, there's some towers that can one-hit kill a ceramic, but but if you send enough ceramics, then it'll get overrun. Especially if we put a spacing of 0, 100 ceramics, it'll do that incredibly quickly. Whereas if we get a tower such as, what's a good one? Ooh, like this. Get up the Inferno Ring, good tower, but it can't do as much. So if you send out 100 ceramics, it's not going to be able to deal with all of them. Sure, it'll deal with a bunch, but if we send out a spacing of 1, we can expect it'll do a lot better. But the Glaive Lord will never get overrun. So that's one of the good things about the Glaive Lord upgrade. You can send I just sent several hundred ceramics, and you see, one another characteristic of infinite popping power is the balloons will never go past, they'll never advance beyond where, once a balloon first pops, that's where they all pop. Also, Glaive Lord can now pop leads, which is expected of a 5th tier upgrade. I mean, okay, so it's enough time on the first path. Faster throwing, faster rings, bionic boomerang, turbocharge, and permacharge. Now, I tend not to use this upgrade path very much. Well, I mean, I don't use the boomerang very much, but actually, no, okay. Bring this back down to 10. And 10 yellows, it's not throwing considerably faster, but it still does it. I mean, that's not going to handle 10 pinks. But if we now get it up to this, 10 pinks, actually, I wouldn't expect that. Alright, so it still leaks 3 lives, which is not bad, but it's not going to do much. Whereas if we go up here to the bionic boomerang, we can send out pinks. It's going to have no issue. Zebras, we could probably try and... Okay, it'll get overrun by zebras. But it's not a bad tower, I mean... Oh, excuse me. Purples, let's see. Okay, yeah, it can't handle purples, but it'll only leak 8 lives, so... I mean, it's not awful. If we get it up to turbocharge, then we have a new ability here. As it's the middle path, it has an ability. So if we send out maybe 10 ceramics and we use the ability, it's going to easily go through them. Now, see, if we send out 1 Moab, I don't know if maybe the ability will be able to cover that. I'm not sure. But we'll have to see. It is a 4th tier tower, so you would hope so. Oh yeah, it'll shred through the Moab. So that's good to know. So this 4th tier tower can shred through the Moab, which is a good skill to have. I mean, it's only 4,000 coins. However, it is an ability, so if we send it up against their BFB, it's not going to do much. For obvious reasons, but we'll see how much damage it can get. Yeah, the ability runs out after a while. So now it's left, it'll reduce the BFB to ceramics, which is not bad. Now this, again, I'm only doing each individual path. I'm going to do my recommendations for which paths go together at the end. Oh, sorry. But now if we have our permacharge, it's going to go a lot faster and a lot longer. I didn't know that. So that's a BFB. It's going to easily run through the BFB. Now, the thing that I've noticed about all 5th tier towers should be able to easily take down a ZOMG. So, this being just a normal 5th tier tower, we're going to test it out. And we're going to activate the ability, and it's dealing fine with the outer layer. And after a while, it gets overrun, and it'll leak more than 1,000 lives. So it didn't defend the ZOMG very well. However, if we put together maybe like 3 of these, we get these up just a 4th tier. And then now we'll try sending out a ZOMG. Now it should have no problem. But also now there are 3 monkeys, which helps a lot. So now we have all 3 abilities activated, and it's going to absolutely destroy this. And now it has extra help. Actually, it'll leak like not too many lives, but that's it for the second path. Now we're on to the third path, long range, red hot. Okay, that's important. It can now pop frozen and lead. Kylie boomerangs, they follow a straight path. This is an interesting path. We have Moab class balloons, it knocks them back. And this one, extra damage. This one is a very interesting path. I don't use it very often, but it's not gonna, long range doesn't have much of an effect. You send out 10 yellows, it's not gonna do much. Oh, excuse me. So now if we get red hot rings now, it can pop leads, which is the important thing. It's not gonna run through them, but say if we get a 2-2, now it should deal with leads. Because it has the glaives. Yeah, it does pretty well. Now this is the interesting thing. Actually, I'll get rid of that. So if we get this just an 003, now watch what the boomerang does. So if we just send out some pinks, it goes straight. And this can really help in for popping power. If we send out like 100 reds, it'll just go like that. It won't miss. If we send out 100 blues, actually, maybe not even blues. It one hit KOs a blue. But yeah, if you see for greens, it helps out a lot. Because it'll boomerang right back. And especially down a line. Like, if you set this guy to last, like a spike bolt, it can do a lot of damage. Sure, it's going to miss some, but it's going to get all of them. So that's something very interesting. Now if we set this guy up against one Moab. Now this is the Moab press. So you should be able to hold the Moab back. And it does some damage, which is very important. This is a very interesting path to use. It's not going to take down the Moab. It'll take down the Moab, but it leaves full ceramics. So not much there. Moab domination. This is really expensive, so it's got to take down a Moab. Oh, that was quick. That was quite quick. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little... Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. I forgot. It has a really long range. So again, balloons are not its specialty, but it dealt with the Moab later very well. You see, its range is right there, but it can shoot. It can shoot something beyond its range. So it's doing damage to the ZOMG, which is quite powerful. And it'll take down the ZOMG layer here. It's going to shred through the Moab layers. And then cleaning up the balloons is not its specialty. So that's it, really. Now for suggestions. So again, I don't really use the Boomerang Monkey too much. I mean, my XP, it's okay, but this is like after I completed it. So what I like to do is I find this 4th tier upgrade, the more glaives, to be very, very effective. So I like getting a 4-2-0 monkey, and if you put a bunch of these guys together, they're not very expensive. If you put a bunch of these guys together, then they have incredible balloon popping power. So if we send like, I don't know, like 100 ceramics, they're grouped, so, but they're doing fine against them, so that's what I love about them. And like, they only sell for $4,000. They're not really expensive. If we send out like 10 Moabs, they should be able to deal with it. I mean, maybe not actually. Yeah, they're not going to do that. Okay, yeah, they don't even break the layer. But if we send out a Moab, they should be fine. I mean, I guess they don't do much damage against the Moab layer. Yeah, that's probably the problem. Yeah, they're not going to take it down. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, though. Their grouped balloon popping power is quite impressive. They can't pop leads, so that's going to be an issue. But if I'm sending out a bunch of group ceramics, that's like 300 ceramics. They're going to get overrun, but they're defending pretty well. I mean, just one group, that's 100 group ceramics. This is something that you'll see like around 63. If you get a village up, no problem. Sometimes I like to use the middle path just only for the third tier, though. I think the ability for early game, the Bionic Boomerang is a very good choice. And for this, either path works. I just tend to prefer the top path. But he sends out like 100 whites. I like to use this for the early game. It's a very effective early game tower. I mean, it does well with weak balloon popping power. Now, if you're going late game, in terms of balloon popping power, the Glaive Lord is the ultimate balloon popping power. So, yes, it's really expensive, but if you want to have this at the back of the path, it's 40,000 bucks or 40,000 coins. You set it up around a corner so it does maximum damage. And if you get something like faster throwing, the middle path is better for this. It still pops leads and frozen balloons. However, frozen balloons. But point is, this is the ultimate balloon popping power. So if you want to have this at the very back of your defense, then it'll do everything. If here also is the ricochet going to work, it takes off the ceramic layer before it even gets there. So these balloons are done. If you want to have this at the back of your defense, like if you want to have a super monkey somewhere up here, like an anti-balloon, here, if you want to actually get like a 4th tier super monkey here, nope, that's not what I meant to do. If you want to get like a 4th tier super monkey right here, in this path, then it's gonna take down the ZOMG layer. It's too many. If we take like 10 ZOMGs, it's gonna do pretty fine. Because this will deal with the ZOMG layer, and then all the balloons will be left for our friendly Glaive Lord. And now we'll sell him. We'll see how much our Glaive Lord can do. It probably won't be able to take down the BFD layers, but the Moabs are no problem. But, I mean, I hope you enjoyed this video. The Boomerang, it's a very interesting tower. I don't recommend using it very much, because it's just, at least it doesn't fit my needs too much, but if it fits your needs, then it's a very useful tower, especially in the early game, and the late game can be not bad. Oh, well, it dealt with that. I think that's all you needed to see. Alright, well, again, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with another video. Goodbye.